Quotes by Otto von Bismarck. Do not expect that once taking advantage of Russia's weakness, you will receive dividends forever. Russians always come for money, for their money, and when they come, do not rely on an agreement signed by you. You are supposed to justify they are not worth the paper it is written. Therefore, with Russia is to play fair or do not play. Number 2. The secret of politics: make a good treaty with Russia. Quote 3. What we learn from history is that no one learns from history. Quote 4. People never lie so much as after a hunt, during a war, or before an election. Quote 5. The division of the United States into federations of equal force was decided long after the Civil War by the high financial powers of Europe. These bankers were afraid that the United States, if they remained in one bloc and as one nation, would attain economic and financial independence, which would upset their financial domination over the world. The voice of Rothschilds prevailed. Therefore, they sent their emissaries into the field to exploit the question of slavery and to open an abyss between the two sections of the Union. Geez, that was a big one. The quote, I forgot the numbers. Next quote. The Americans are very lucky people. They've bordered into the north and south by weak neighbors, and to the east and west by fish. Next. Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. The death of Abraham Lincoln was a disaster for Christendom. There was no man in the United States great enough to wear his boots, and the bankers went anew to grab the riches. I fear that the foreign bankers, with their craftiness and tortuous tricks, will entirely control the exorbitant riches of America and use it to systematically corrupt civilization. The great questions of the day will not be settled by means of speeches and majority decisions, but by iron and blood. Never believe anything in politics until it has been officially denied. One day, the great European war will come out of some damned foolish thing in the Balkans. God has special providence for fools, drunks, and the United States of America. We live in a wondrous time in which the strong is weak because of his moral scruples, and the weak grows strong because of his audacity. Next, a generation has taken a beating because a generation that has taken a beating is always followed by a generation that deals one. Wow. Even the most favorable outcome of the war that will never lead to the decomposition of the main forces of Russia, which is based on millions of Russian and the latter, even if they break up the international treaties, just as quickly reconnect with each other like the pieces of a particle of mercury. A really great man is known by 3 signs: generosity in the design, humanity and in the execution, moderation in success. People who love sausage and people who believe in justice should never watch either of them being made. When you want to fool the world, tell the truth. Preventative war is like committing suicide out of fear of death. A bad plan that is well executed will yield much better results than a good plan that is poorly executed. Anyone who's ever looked into the glazed eyes of a soldier dying on the battlefield will think hard before starting a war. It is the destiny of the weak to be devoured by the strong. When a man says he approves of something in principle, it means he hasn't the slightest intention of carrying it out in practice. With bad laws and good civil servants, it's still possible to govern, but with bad civil servants, even the best laws can't help. I consider even a victorious war as an evil. Actually, I'll just put this in part 2.